All right, what a weekend of football that was. Across Europe, we saw title races getting spicier, records getting smashed. So let's not waste any time. We're diving right into a full tour of the top leagues. And as we go, I want you to keep one big question in mind. Who really gained the most points this weekend? Now, I know what you're thinking. It sounds like a simple question, right? But trust me, how we get to that answer, that's where all the good stuff is. So, to figure this out, we're going to hit all the big leagues, Italy, England, Spain, and Germany, and break down the games that are really shaking things up. In our first stop, let's head over to Italy and the always intense Serie A. Man, things are really heating up in Italy. The title race is just so tight. And this weekend, it was a real pressure cooker for both Milan clubs. We're talking about two matches that were absolute nail-biters, going right down to the wire. First up, we've got AC Milan playing host to Roma at the San Siro. I mean, this is a proper clash of giants. And it was exactly as tense as you'd expect, ending in a super tight 1-0 win for Milan. So how'd they do it? Well, it took a bit of magic from the one and only Olivier Giroud, who slotted home the only goal. But honestly, the real hero of the match was at the other end of the pitch. Goalkeeper Mike Mailny. What a legend. He pulled off this absolutely massive penalty save late in the game to lock in those 3 points. And you can't underestimate how huge that one save was. Those 3 points completely changed the dynamic at the top of the table. It just cranks up the pressure and makes that title race even tighter. What a massive result for Milan. Okay, so while that was happening, their crosstown rivals, Inter, had their own battle to fight. They were away at Hellas Verona, and let me tell you, they had to work for it, just scraping by with a 2-1 victory. And when I say they had to work for it, I mean it. This match was pure chaos. Inter gets the lead, thanks to an incredible volley from Lautaro Martinez. But then Verona claws their way back and gets the equalizer. It seriously looked like it was heading for a draw. And then, disaster strikes for Verona. A heartbreaking own goal deep into stoppage time just hands the win to Inter. Absolutely wild. Look, it wasn't a beautiful win, not by a long shot. But those 3 points, they are absolutely vital for Inter's title hopes. You know, these are the kinds of ugly, gritty wins that end up defining a championship season. All right, let's hop over to the channel to England and the Premier League. We've got a story here about one of the biggest stars in the world hitting a truly mind-blowing milestone, all while getting his team a win they desperately needed. So, over at Anfield, Liverpool put in a really solid performance, getting a 2-0 win against a tough Aston Villa team. A couple of goals, a clean sheet. Yeah, that's a good day at the office. But the real headline from this game, it all comes down to one number: 250. Just think about that for a second. An absolutely huge number. So what's it all about? Well, that is the number of goals Mohamed Salah has now scored for Liverpool. 250. He is now in this super exclusive club, only the 3rd player in the entire history of that legendary club to hit that mark. Just incredible stuff from the Egyptian king. Ryan Gravenberch was the one who added the 2nd goal to put the game to bed. And, you know, this win was so important because it snapped a really nasty streak for Liverpool. They'd lost 4 league games in a row before this. So you can just imagine the relief. This is way more than just 3 points. It's a massive confidence booster for the whole squad, especially with some huge games coming up. And elsewhere in the Premier League, was anyone surprised? Manchester City just kept their incredible run going. They had a pretty comfortable 3-1 win over Bournemouth, just reminding everyone why they're such a powerhouse. And guess who was at the heart of it all? Yep, Erling Haaland. The guy was just a machine, grabbing 2 goals in the first half. Bournemouth did manage to get one back through Che Adams, but then Matt O'Reilly scored a 3rd for City to seal the deal. Just too much firepower to handle. Okay, let's wrap up our weekend tour with one last stop. We're heading back to the continent to look at some seriously dominant wins from the big guns in Germany and Spain. First, in Germany, Bayern Munich just laid down a marker, didn't they? They put on a show at home, beating a very good Bayer Leverkusen team by a score of 3-0. That's the kind of result that sends a shiver down the spine of the rest of the league. With a goal from Serge Gnabry and a little help from an own goal, Bayern are just reinforcing what we already know. They are the team to beat in the Bundesliga. Now let's jump over to Spain, where Barcelona also got the job done. They were at home against Elche and came away with a solid 3-1 win. It was great to see the young superstar Lamine Yamal get on the score sheet, along with Ferran Torres, and this was a really important win too. It actually bumps them up into second place in La Liga, which keeps the heat on the team at the top. But speaking of the team at the top, wow, Real Madrid, the team everyone is trying to catch, well, they just put on a masterclass. They completely took Valencia apart, a stunning 4-0 win at home. I mean, Kylian Mbappe was just on another level, scoring a penalty and then this absolutely brilliant volley. And of course, Jude Bellingham scored again. Does he ever stop? Alvaro Carrera added the fourth, and yeah, that win just solidifies their spot right at the top of the league. So, that brings us all the way back to our big question from the start: who gained the most points this weekend? And after all that excitement, all that drama, the answer's kind of funny. It's everyone. AC Milan, Inter, Liverpool, Real Madrid. Every single winning team we talked about gained 3 points. Because at the end of the day, a win's a win, right? Doesn't matter if it's a 1-0 nail-biter or a 4-0 blowout. But you know how it is in football? The action never, ever stops. The weekend league games are done and dusted, which means our focus shifts to the biggest stage in club football, the Champions League. And oh boy, do we have some massive games coming up this week. First, you've got a heavyweight clash between PSG and Bayern Munich. And then, get ready for this one, Liverpool versus Real Madrid. They're getting ready to add another epic chapter to their incredible history. Seriously, that Liverpool-Real Madrid match, it's just got everything, doesn't it? You've got two of the most historic clubs in European football going head-to-head. Whenever they play, it feels like history is being made. It's a true clash of titans, and you are not going to want to miss it. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.